Stay just for tonight. The room was wrapped in quiet gold, soft enough to slow the passing hours. A record turned beneath the candlelight, its melody unfolding like a memory. You leaned against the balcony, watching the city breathe below. Thousands of lights reached toward the sky, yet none of them could outshine the calm you carried so effortlessly. Some people speak to fill the silence, you never needed to. You let the evening arrive exactly as it was, unhurried, honest, beautiful. There's a kind of peace that can't be borrowed. It only appears when someone feels like home. Stay until the moon forgets the morning. Stay until every shadow learns your name. Nothing about this moment needs to be louder. Some of the rarest things only exist when the world grows quiet. If love has a heartbeat, I hear it now, slow, steady, yours beside mine. Ooh, don't move. This silence is everything. The scent of coffee lingered long after the cups were empty. Outside the rain had disappeared, leaving crystal reflections across the sleeping streets. You smiled at something neither of us said, and somehow that became the most beautiful conversation of the night. I've chased dreams across unfamiliar cities. I've stood beneath skylines people only see in photographs. Still, none of those places ever felt as complete as this quiet room with your laughter softly echoing against the walls. Luxury has never been about where we are, it's about who makes an ordinary evening feel unforgettable. No perfect timing, no perfect words, just perfect honesty. Sometimes that's enough. Stay where the music keeps breathing. Stay where candlelight paints gold across your eyes. Tomorrow changes every direction. I'll still remember how gently this night held us. No grand finale, only two hearts choosing to slow down together. Maybe love was never waiting at the finish line. Maybe it was hidden inside shared glances, half-finished songs, the warmth of your shoulder against mine. Maybe happiness has always lived inside the moments we almost overlooked. Until every light above the skyline fades into dawn. Long enough for this feeling to become part of me. If years from now someone asks what peace look like, I'll remember this room, this music, this candle, and you standing quietly at the center of everything beautiful. Leave the record playing, some songs never really end. One more night, one more song, one more slow goodbye. The room was dressed in shades of blue, soft enough to hide every unfinished thought. A single candle traced your silhouette, turning ordinary moments into art. Outside, the skyline shimmered like glass, every window holding someone else's story. But nothing beyond these walls could compare to the quiet certainty settling between us. You reach for your coffee, still warm in your hands, while the vinyl whispered another forgotten melody. No dramatic entrance, no perfect timing, just two people finding peace in the middle of an ordinary night. Some hearts never ask for attention, they simply become impossible to ignore. Maybe that's how love survives without trying. If the night could keep a secret, I hope it keeps this one. Your eyes, the candlelight, the music moving like velvet through the room. No promises beyond tomorrow, no impossible dreams to chase. Only this quiet place where every breath feels like home. Stay until the morning forgets our names. Don't let go, not yet. The night is still young. The record turned another circle, never rushing toward the end. Outside, rain painted silver lines across the sleeping city. You smiled without noticing, and somehow the entire room became warmer. I've spent years looking for extraordinary moments. Airports, ocean views, luxury hotels, and the skylines. Funny how none of them ever felt as rich as sitting beside someone who never asked me to be anything other than myself. The candle leaned gently whenever the breeze found the window. Even the silence seemed grateful to be here. Nothing expensive can imitate the comfort of being understood. Some nights are worth more than everything money can buy. If the night could keep a secret, let it remember this feeling. Your voice soft as smoke floating through the amber light. If tomorrow changes everything, tonight has already given me enough. No fireworks, no headlines, only the rare luxury of being completely present. Maybe love was never meant to be loud, maybe it was always hidden inside. Slow conversations, lingering glances, half-finished cups of coffee, and the courage to sit beside someone without trying to fill every silence. Because sometimes silence is the most beautiful language two hearts will ever speak. But because you became the safest place I've ever known. Leave the candle burning. The night still remembers fate. After midnight, the city's still awake. Your silhouette was framed by the skyline, a masterpiece the night refused to hide. Champagne reflections drifted through the room, painting silver across your smile. The music barely touched the air, just enough to soften every corner. No one was trying to steal the moment, we simply let it become itself. Outside, the streets carry strangers home inside. Time folded into something slower. You brushed your fingers across the crystal glass, leaving circles that caught the candlelight. Funny how the smallest gestures can leave the deepest echoes. You never asked for all my attention, you only existed beautifully, and somehow that was enough to change the room. Me, where the city disappears, where every light becomes a constellation, floating in your eyes. No need to chase tomorrow, no need to name this feeling. Some nights were never meant to be explained. Only remember, stay here where silence sounds more beautiful than every love song I've ever known. A little closer, don't let the morning find us yet. I've seen expensive places, perfect views, golden sunsets, so like postcards. Still, none of them ever carried the quiet elegance you wore without trying. The candle leaned toward your shadow, and still even fire wanted to understand your warmth. Your laughter arrived softly, never asking to become the center. Yet somehow everything else moved out of its way. I realized then, luxury isn't marble, it isn't diamonds, it isn't champagne. Sometimes luxury is finding someone who makes silence feel complete. No crowded rooms, no endless noise, just one honest moment, breathing beside another. Maybe that's what love always wanted to be. Meet me where the city disappears, where the skyline becomes our ceiling. Hold this quiet like it's priceless, because nothing rare ever has to be loud. If tomorrow writes another ending, tonight is already written enough. Maybe forever isn't measured by years. Maybe it's measured by one unforgettable evening, one slow heartbeat, one shared glance, one room where neither of us needed to become anyone else. Meet me where the night remembers, where every candle still leans towards your name. If the skyline forgets our shadows, if daylight carries us apart, I'll still return to this evening, to this silence, to the version of myself that first learned how peaceful love could be. When the lights go out, leave one candle burning, I'll always find my way back. One more evening, one more slow dance. The evening settled like fine linen, smooth against the edges of the room. Your reflection drifted through the window, blending with the skyline's quiet bloom. Nothing has to be remembered, nothing tried to steal the scene. Beauty has a gentle habit of arriving quietly unseen. The candle traces soft lines across your face, turning ordinary into rare. Even the silence seemed relieved to finally find us there. Outside, the city kept collecting stories. Inside, we became one of them. You never reached for perfect words. Your honesty was always enough. Maybe that's why the night felt lighter standing next to you. Don't let this evening hurry. Let every second find its place. Love was never made for crowded moments. It was breathing in borrowed silence, and steady breathing in the way your eyes always found mine. If tomorrow calls us somewhere else, leave tonight untouched, exactly as it is. Closer, not because we're lonely, because peace looks beautiful beside you. A jazz record faded into echoes, leaving warmth where melodies had been. You wrapped both hands around your coffee as if holding the last quiet hour before the morning arrived. I've learned that the world celebrates the loudest victories, but no one celebrates the evenings that quietly change us forever. The soft conversation, the patient listening, the comfortable pauses, the feeling of never needing to become someone else. Some luxuries cannot be purchased, they're discovered in ordinary nights with extraordinary people. No spotlight, no applause, only the rare comfort of being understood. Maybe that's the richest feeling we'll ever know. Don't let this evening hurry. Let the candle burn a little longer. Let the city keep its distance. Tonight belongs to slower heartbeats, to unfinished conversations, to the kind of love that never needs to prove itself. Stay until silence feels like music. Perhaps forever isn't a destination. Perhaps it's only a handful of evenings we never stop carrying. The scent of coffee, the sound of vinyl rain against the glass, your smile appearing without a reason. Maybe that's what remains long after the lights go out. Don't let this evening hurry. Don't let this evening hurry. Don't let this evening hurry. Let it settle deep beneath my skin. If years erase every street we've ever walked, they'll never erase the quiet grace you brought into my life. Some memories fade, some become photographs, and some become the place your heart returns to whenever it needs to feel at home. Good night, until the night finds us again. One last night, one last light, stay with me. The candle had almost burned to nothing, a quiet witness to the hours we'd shared. Morning waited beyond the skyline, patient enough not to interrupt. The room held on to every melody as though the walls had learned the chorus. hours outside, the city slowly found its voice. Inside, the silence still belonged to us. You looked toward the window, watching the first hint of blue touch the horizon. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't goodbye, only the quiet understanding, the beautiful evenings I never meant to be owned, only remembered. Nothing lasts forever, that's what gives tonight its gentle glow. Some endings teach the heart how to keep loving. When the morning finds us, don't be afraid to smile. Some nights never leave, they simply change the way we see the light. No promises, no final words, only this beautiful silence, holding everything we never needed to say. If love has ever found a home, I know it lived somewhere inside this room. One more moment before the daylight, the record reached its final note, leaving the air beautifully unfinished. You folded your hands around an empty cup, still warm enough to remember the night outside. The streets awaken one light at a time inside. Time felt unwilling to move forward. I spent years searching for places that could change me. Luxury hotels, ocean rides, and cities that never sleep. Yet nothing ever transformed me the way one ordinary evening spent beside you quietly did. Perhaps happiness was never hidden inside distant destinations. Perhaps it had always been here, waiting patiently for us to slow down enough to notice. No applause, no audience, only two quiet hearts choosing presence over perfection. Maybe that's the rarest kind of love. When the morning finds us, let it find us grateful for every slow conversation, every shared silence, every laugh that arrived without trying. If tomorrow carries us elsewhere, this evening we'll continue breathing inside every song I'll ever hear. Years will pass, the skyline will change, the cafes we loved may close their doors. The candle, the record, the rain against the window will all become memories. But peace, real peace, never belongs to a place. It belongs to the person who teaches your heart that it no longer needs to keep running. Maybe that's what love was all along. Not finding someone to complete us, but finding someone who makes us feel completely ourselves. When the morning finds us, let it carry only light. No regrets, no unfinished words, only gratitude for a night that quietly became part of slow heartbeat. Just breathe. The city wore its diamonds lightly, scattered across the river like a whispered promise. You stood beside the window, holding the glass that reflected every passing light. Yet somehow nothing in the skyline could compete with the quiet in your eyes. There was no performance, no carefully chosen words, only the kind of stillness people spend a lifetime searching for outside. The world continued asking questions inside. The silence had already answered them all. I watched the candle lean into the night, its flame moving gently, as though it understood that beautiful things never need a hurry. Maybe love never arrives with thunder. Maybe it enters softly like moonlight crossing an empty room. Maybe hearts don't recognize forever, they only recognize peace. Stay here where the night breathes slowly, where every second feels expensive, like something time could never afford twice. No promises, no perfect ending, only your hand resting close enough to quiet every restless thought. If tomorrow finds another story, let it wait beyond the sunrise. Tonight is enough, more than enough. Don't wait, the stars, they're listening. Stay just like this. The record kept turning long after we stopped paying attention. Strings melted into soft percussion while your reflection danced across the glass. You smiled as happiness didn't need an audience. I walked through cities built from marble and ambition. I watched sunsets, people travel oceans to remember. Still, nothing has ever felt as impossibly rare as sharing silence with someone who never asked me to become anyone else. The air carried hints of cedar, vanilla, and forgotten conversations. Even the room seemed unwilling to let the evening end. No louder than breathing, no brighter than candlelight. Some moments become unforgettable simply because they never try to be. Stay here where the night breathes slowly, where every heartbeat finds another reason to believe the world can still be gentle. No fireworks above us, no words stressed as forever, only this quiet gravity pulling us closer than language. If tomorrow steals these hours, it will never steal the way they felt. People write poems about impossible love, but no one tells you how extraordinary ordinary peace can become. Maybe that's the miracle, not the spark, not the chase. The moment you finally stop searching, because you've already arrived. Inside songs, inside the quiet places, we'll carry forever. Leave the window open, maybe the moon will remember us. Fade. One last record, one last dance. Stay. The room was wrapped in quiet amber, soft enough to slow the hands of time. Your shadow drifted with the candle, like poetry refusing to rhyme. Outside, the skyline wore 1,000 lights, each one searching for tomorrow. Inside, nothing needed to become anything more than this. You rested your hand beside an untouched cup of coffee. Steam disappeared into the air, leaving behind only warmth. Sometimes the most beautiful evenings are the ones that never ask to be remembered. They simply become unforgettable. You never reached for perfect moments, you made ordinary moments perfect without trying. Stay where the music still breathes, where every quiet glance feels like a page no one else will ever read. No promises beyond tonight, no fear beyond tomorrow. Only a heartbeat moving gently beside mine, teaching silence how to sing. Don't move, the night still has one more story. Rain gathered quietly along the balcony glass, turning the city into watercolor reflections. You smiled at the window as if remembering something beautiful you never told anyone. The record reached its favorite melody, neither of us spoke. Some conversations become complete long before words arrive. I've admired beautiful architecture, luxury hotels, endless coastlines, but none of them ever carried the quiet elegance of watching someone feel completely at peace. Maybe that's the rarest view the world can offer. Nothing louder than kindness, nothing brighter than sincerity. Some souls never change a room, they change the way your heart feels inside it. Stay where candlelight learns your name, where every passing hour feels softer than the one before. If daylight comes too early, we'll leave a little piece of ourselves inside this evening. Somewhere the morning will never find. Years from now, the skyline will look different, the music will stop playing. Even this candle will become another memory, but the piece you placed inside me will continue long after the night is gone. Maybe love was never meant to be loud. Maybe it was always a quiet room, a slow song, and someone who finally made the world feel unhurried. Stay until the stars become the morning, until silence feels brighter than the city lights. If this evening is only borrowed, then let it live forever inside every heartbeat that follows. Because some nights don't disappear, they become the place we return to whenever life forgets how beautiful stillness can be. Leave the record spinning. Some melodies never truly end. night's almost gone, but not yet. Morning waited patiently beyond the edge of the glass, while the city still belonged to scattered lights and unfinished dreams. The candle had grown smaller, its flame quieter than before, yet somehow the room felt warmer than when the evening first began. You sat beside the window, watching reflections drift across the river. Nothing about the moment needed to become extraordinary. It already was. Some evenings carry their own heartbeats, slow enough to remind us that peace is never in a hurry. Maybe we spend too much life trying to arrive somewhere, when the most beautiful places have always been inside moments like this. Stay until the silence learns another song. Stay until the skyline forgets the stars. No promises written for tomorrow, only this gentle light falling across your face, making ordinary seconds feel priceless. If love has a favorite season, it must be this quiet hour before the dawn. Don't say goodbye, the night is still listening. Your fingertips rested against the warm porcelain cup, tracing circles without realizing you were drawing memories. Outside, the streets slowly awakened. Inside, time remained untouched. I've seen places people call unforgettable, cities that sparkle, coastlines that never end, rooms dressed in marble and gold. Still, none of them ever felt as rich as hearing you laugh without trying to impress anyone. Luxury isn't measured by what surrounds us, it's measured by the people who make us forget everything else. Nothing louder than honesty, nothing brighter than kindness, nothing rarer than feeling completely understood. Stay where candlelight still remembers your eyes. Stay where every quiet breath feels like another verse of a song they'll never finish. If tomorrow changes the view, I still return to this evening whenever I need to remember how gentle life can be. Perhaps forever isn't a lifetime, perhaps forever is one unforgettable night that continues living inside your heart. The record grows softer, the candle burns lower, the sky becomes lighter, yet somehow the feeling only grows deeper. Maybe that's how real love survives, not by holding on, but by becoming part of who we are. Until the first bird greets the morning. Stay until the last star lets go of the sky. If every beautiful night must finally end, let this one leave behind a quieter heart, a slower soul, and a version of me who finally understands that the greatest love never needed to announce itself, it only needed to be felt. When morning comes, leave the window city's asleep, but the night is still speaking. The skyline shimmered like a distant dream, wrapped in colors only midnight knows. A quiet breeze slipped through the balcony, carrying the scent of rain and roses. You rested gently in the candlelight, your shadow moving with the flame. Nothing about the evening asked for more, nothing needed to be explained. The room became a little universe, safe from the noise beyond the glass. Even the clocks seemed to surrender, letting every second softly pass. I've never trusted perfect moments, they disappear too easily. But this felt beautifully real. No destination, no expectations, just the rare comfort and nowhere else to be. Maybe peace has always looked like this. Stay until the skyline fades in the morning. Stay where silence feels warmer than words. Every little glance, every quiet smile, every breath between us becomes a place I'll always return to. If love is simply feeling understood, then tonight we already found it. A little slower, don't let the night leave too soon. The candle painted gold across the edge of your face, like an artist refusing to finish the masterpiece. You close your eyes for only a moment, long enough for the whole room to become softer. Outside, cars disappeared into distant rivers of light. Inside, your heartbeat became the only rhythm I wanted to follow. I've seen mornings rise over oceans, I've watched sunsets disappear behind mountains. Still, nothing has ever carried the quiet elegance of this ordinary, even share with you. Maybe happiness never needed a grand entrance. Maybe it has always arrived exactly like this, without asking to be noticed. No fear of tomorrow, no need to hold too tightly. Beautiful things know how to stay even after they're gone. Stay where the music keeps breathing. Stay where candlelight knows your name. Let the city keep chasing tomorrow. Tonight we'll choose a slower rhythm, one that belongs only to us. If this memory lasts forever, it will sound exactly like your laughter. One day the skyline will change, the cafes will close, the records will stop spinning. Even this candle will become another memory. But the way you looked when you smiled without trying, that will never leave. Because love isn't measured by how long a moment lasts, it's measured by how deeply it continues to live inside you. Stay until the first light touches the window. Stay until this silence becomes part of who we are. If tomorrow calls us away, I'll carry tonight like a favorite melody, returning whenever life becomes too loud. Because some evenings don't simply end, they quietly become the safest place a heart can remember. Good night. Crystal glasses catching candlelight. You look like a secret dressed in white. Every conversation lost its place. The moment silence memorized your face. Outside the city kept moving on. Inside the room the rush was gone. Like the night had folded into two, leaving all this quiet for me and you. No need to rush, no need to hide. Some things arrive exactly right. Pour another midnight, let the hours disappear. Love is never sounded half as beautiful as here. If tomorrow changes everything, tonight is still enough. Sometimes forever begins with almost touching love. You smile without asking anything, like the moon forgetting how to shine. Every second tasted softer, every heartbeat fell in line. I don't remember leaving, maybe we never did. Some nights become a memory before they've even lived. Stay until the room forgets the time. Stay where your heart meets more. Another midnight, let the silence overflow. The sweetest kind of love is the one that doesn't need to show. Just stay. After the midnight rain, everything feels lighter. The rain had polished every street, leaving mirrors where the city used to be. Neon colors drifted through the puddles, breaking softly beneath our feet. You tucked a loose strand behind your ear, like it had nowhere else to belong. The smallest gesture, the quietest grace, somehow became my favorite song. Cars move like distant rivers, never asking us to follow. For the first time in a long while, tomorrow didn't seem important. Only this slow walk, only your laughter, only the beautiful weight of nothing needing to happen. You looked at me as though the night had always known we'd end up here. No fear, no hurry, only breathing. Walk with me until the skyline disappears, until the last cafe turns off its lights. Let's borrow one more hour from the sleeping world, where every quiet step feels like forever. If lovers ever wanna face it, isn't perfection, it's the way you smile when you forget anyone is watching. Stay close, don't count the hours, count the moments. The air smelled faintly of cedar and fresh rain on warm pavement. Your coat carried traces of jasmine and midnight. The city suddenly felt smaller, not because the streets had changed, but because every place seemed to begin where you were standing. I've seen lights stretch across oceans, I've watched dawn rise above mountain peaks. Still, nothing has ever matched the quiet luxury of hearing your heartbeat, while the rest of the world forgot we existed. You never tried to become forgettable, that's exactly why change your life. They arrive to remind you what peace feels like. Walk with me where conversations end in silence becomes a favorite language. No promises carved in stone, no impossible forever. Just this evening, perfect because it asks for nothing more. If the moon remembers us, let it keep this story hidden inside its light. Maybe happiness isn't extraordinary. Maybe it's simply sharing the last sip of coffee, watching rain collect on the window, listening to music neither of us needs to talk over. Maybe love has always sounded exactly like this.